I guess like you kind of touched on this too, like within like your 20-year career, like the 5-year mark and then it moving and talking about kind of interoperability within the decade. How much of the delay was like a technical thing? How much of it was like political or bureaucratic? And who actually benefits from things staying fragmented? Is there an incentive on things being fragmented?
So there can be incentives to fragmentation. Like if you are a vendor who has, a customer, like you might have some incentive to make it harder for them to leave. It just might make that easier. That hasn't been my experience for the most part. I haven't seen a ton of that. I don't think that's the main thing. To me, there's sort of two drivers of that fragmentation, two reasons why I think we remain very fragmented as a system. One is, and to my original point, it's really, really hard to do this stuff well. What you get might actually not be what you want. I think the most important, if I was to like tell, I should do this when I teach. If I was to tell like students of digital health to like read one document, to like wrap their heads around it, it would be a few years ago, Ontario published a report on the Health Report Manager and basically how to fix the Health Report Manager. And Health Report Manager, it started as a hospital report manager, very simple. You go to the hospital, you tell them like the CPSO number of your doctor. When you discharge from the hospital, they send a report to your doctor with the discharge report. Amazing. Wow. Like when you leave the hospital, your primary care provider gets a record of your hospital discharge. Like who could disagree with that? Like what a great thing. But the report is a very detailed, like couple 100-page breakdown of what went wrong and why. Because what happened was the flow of data became overwhelming. Primary care providers were getting absolutely flooded with data from the hospitals. And it ended up being people would like turn off their data feeds because it was just like ruining their lives. There were clinicians who had sort of stories of like, I was like in tears every night, spending 3 hours like sifting through these reports because they were very repetitive and they had way too much data. But if I missed something, I was liable. Badly designed interoperability can be disastrous. It can be actually like disastrous for the system. It can cost time. It can drive burnout. It can cost lives. The idea that interoperability is just like, yeah, just connect stuff. That's great. Like that is not how it works. Um, One of my things I like to do is when I go ever to like an airport or to a hotel and I sort of go to check in and I stand there for like 2 minutes while they're just like typing something in the computer. And I'm like, but I already registered online. And like, what are you doing? Like literally what is happening over there? Like, what's the thing we're doing? And what they're doing is probably some version of entering standard data. So the data is like very well structured and done just the way it's supposed to be. And it's like, okay, we can have really high quality standardized data, but you're going to watch your doctor type for like 17 minutes. So they get your data like just right. Everything's in the right box all the time. Like, do you want that? The fragmentation we have on the one hand, um, is frustrating and problematic. But if you actually were like, okay, everyone, make sure your data is perfect and let's make sure all the data goes to all the places, that could be disastrous too, just in a very different way. So problem number one is interoperability is not always good. It has a lot of downsides. It can be very problematic. And so it's not like just like a yes, no thing. It needs to be done smartly and carefully. Problem number two is on the policy side of things, we never grapple with this question. It's always, oh, we should define data standards and mandate data standards. And if we do that, done. And the reality is like that has not worked in our system for decades. We kind of kick at the can has fallen short and we kind of scratch our heads and we're like, I can't believe it didn't work this time. And it's because it's messy and hard. And if you just like at HL7 fire or something, it's not going to magically solve all these problems. These are very hard problems to solve, and we aren't grappling with them in all that meaningful a way because we're staying very surface level in practice. So that's my soapbox for that one.
I love that.